Back in 2021 and 2022, the LeBron James-led Lakers and the Kevin Durant-led Nets were involved in an NBA arms race which saw both of their super teams imploding. Heading into the 2022 NBA season, the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers were the two favorites to win the title, and fans anticipated a finals between the two super teams, featuring the game's greatest active player LeBron James, his day-to-day companion Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, before Lakers fans wanted to ship him to China. On the other side of the matchup, the Brooklyn Nets had the game's most versatile scorer in Kevin Durant, a ring-chasing James Harden, and round-earth skeptic Kyrie Irving. But how'd the two teams get to this point? Near the start of the 2021 season, the Brooklyn Nets built on their existing duo of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, opting to surround the two stars with a competent, well-constructed team of solid rotation pieces, with guys like Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, Karis LeVert, and they traded them all away for James Harden, who managed to force his way out of the Houston Rockets by allegedly using a fat suit and skipping practices to hit every strip club in a 20-mile radius. And in return for the former MVP, the Nets packaged 3 rotation players, 3 first-round picks, and 4 first-round pick swaps. The Nets followed up the Harden trade by signing 2 former All-Stars near the end of their career, bringing in Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. With all that in mind, the Nets entered the 2021 playoffs expected to dominate off of sheer star power. And they did so, taking care of the 7-seeded Boston Celtics in 5 games. In the second round against the Milwaukee Bucks, however, Kyrie and Harden were injured, so the Nets got bounced in heartbreaking fashion, with a potential game winner from Kevin Durant being spoiled because his big-ass feet were touching the three-point line, making a potential game winner a game-tying shot instead. Then the Nets proceeded to piss the bed in overtime. So now entering the 2022 NBA season coming off of a heartbreaking Game 7 loss, the Nets fielded a roster including Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge, all being coached by former 2-time MVP Steve Nash. Moving west, the Lakers made a move of their own. After being bounced in the first round of the 2021 playoffs after winning the title just last season, the Lakers looked at the Brooklyn Nets in the offseason, seeing that they had on paper the greatest offensive trio the game has ever seen, as well as a buttload of former All-Stars on their bench. So the Lakers made an all-in move of their own, sending 3 rotation players: cardio legend Kyle Kuzma, 3-and-D specialist Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, former 6th Man of the Year Montrezl Harrell, as well as a 2021 first-round pick to the Washington Wizards. And in return, the Lakers got former MVP Russell Westbrook, saving him from the stench of government bureaucracy. With that addition, the Lakers had their own big 3 to measure up to Brooklyn. Building on their existing duo of LeBron and Anthony Davis, they now had Russell Westbrook to bring everything together. And while initially there were concerns about the fit because LeBron and Westbrook had overlapping play styles as primary ball handlers, they probably had too much talent for any of that logic to matter. Also like the Nets, the Lakers stocked up on aging legends, signing Carmelo Anthony and bringing back traffic safety enthusiast Rajon Rondo and sexually ambiguous big man Dwight Howard, who helped the Lakers win a title in 2020. With the Lakers and Nets rosters combining to make up a 2014 All-Star game, NBA fans and Vegas odds predicted a Lakers-Nets finals in 2022, but much to the detriment of degenerate gamblers and super team lovers, both teams would implode before even sniffing the finals. Going back to the East, there was a bit of drama in Brooklyn. The Nets' big 3 of KD, Kyrie, and Harden only ended up playing a combined 16 games together. Aside from injuries, this was because Kyrie refused to get the COVID vaccine, only making him eligible to play certain games within league and state mandates. So although when the big 3 played, they had a winning record of 13-3, the trio had insufficient time to build coherency and compete in the regular season, where they entered the 2022 trade deadline with an 11-game losing streak. In response to this adversity, James Harden pulled out his signature move, putting on a fat suit and hitting the strip club to force a trade. Harden was eventually successful, getting sent to join Joel Embiid on the Philadelphia 76ers at the trade deadline. And in return, the Nets unfortunately received Ben Simmons, a former All-Star who boycotted the 76ers because he was blamed for choking a playoff series in 2021. On top of Kyrie playing basketball part-time and James Harden forcing a trade, the older All-Stars on this team played like they were 1 week away from receiving Social Security benefits, and just about everyone on the roster was injured for a notable amount of time. All this added up as karmic retribution for Kevin Durant for joining the 73-9 Warriors, and also as a very disappointing season for the Nets, who entered the playoffs as a 44-win 7th seed. They were uneventfully swept by the Celtics in the first round. So in the following year, the Nets traded Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving by the trade deadline, marking an end to that era of Brooklyn basketball. Now that we know how the Nets imploded, let's talk about the Lakers. Their fears of poor fit between the big 3 of LeBron, AD, and Westbrook turned out to be reality, with an 11-10 record as a trio during the 2022 season. When the Lakers acquired Westbrook, there was belief that they'd be getting the version of him that just averaged a triple-double in Washington, but they didn't, and his production and role on the team diminished. While Westbrook's faults with the Lakers are usually pretty embellished, there were a few things that were true. At times he was prone to poor decision-making, and he couldn't hit a shot with the fate of the universe on the line. But most importantly, his absurd $45 million a year contract prevented the Lakers from building a competent supporting cast. And along with an incompetent roster, the 2022 Lakers dealt with a ton of injuries. Anthony Davis was beginning to gain notoriety as an injury-prone, unreliable player. gaining the nickname Anthony Day-to-Day Davis in street clothes from NBA legend Charles Barkley. And he proved those nicknames somewhat true, missing half the season to injury. LeBron also dealt with looming injuries for one of the few times in his career, playing only 56 games. And through all of the injuries, Russell Westbrook was the only member of the Big Three who played nearly every game. And because his co-stars were typically out with injury and his contract prevented a competent supporting cast, the Lakers looked awful. It was clear that there was no coherency to this roster, just a bunch of big names lined up to go band for band with the Nets. LeBron and AD were consistently injured. At times, watching Westbrook play basketball was like getting bashed in the skull with a keyboard, and the rest of the roster was a glorified geriatric hospital. All these issues led to the Lakers going out sadder than the Nets, failing to even sniff the playoffs at a 33-49 record. The next year, the Lakers traded Westbrook at the deadline, where he was sent to Utah, but was fortunately waived and ended up on the Clippers, marking an end to the Westbrook experiment. The arms race between the Lakers and the Nets showed that building a roster with a bunch of glamorous names and former All-Stars typically doesn't work. You need to have players that can work together to form a team, players that can sacrifice, synergize, and stay healthy. And for that reason, the 2022 Lakers and Nets joined a long list of failed NBA super teams.